Xbox tax ain't real. You got to be out your mind. I found out the truth. And the level of hypocrisy that's going on is insane. Y'all dudes can't keep the same energy. But there's another round of layoffs that is sickening. We got to get into these topics because it's disgusting just what's going on. Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline with your boy, the King. Now, I know yesterday we talked about some layoffs, and it seems like layoffs is the trend, and I don't like this trend. Last year we had 10,000 layoffs in the industry. 10,000 developers, people that work in the industry. And this year, just 2 months in, we're at 8,000. And companies try to put percentages to their downsizing, if you will. You hear stuff like, oh, well, we're going to cut 9%, like Microsoft said, right? 9%. And that turned out to be 1,900 people, right? And then you hear Sony, okay, we're going to cut 8%. That turned out to be 900 people. Next up to bat is EA with 5%. That's 670 people. And you hear stuff like EA saying, oh, we're not going to do more licensed IPs, like they're not going to go out and license IPs from other people because it's highly cost effective, and the licensor is charging exorbitant amounts of money. Like Disney is kind of crazy. If you saw the Spider-Man contract, it's insane. How can that game make money when they put $300 million into the game and you got to give the licensor, X amount of dollars, and then what do you make, right? So we can see how Spider-Man can sell X amount of units and still underperform profit-wise. See, that's the difference between sales and profit. I've tried to tell you guys before, a lot of these pork begging ponies like to put up, sales, console sales. You're not making any money. So EA is in a bit of a bind right here because recently, they started doing, the licensing thing. That's been EA's whole crux. If you look at the NFL, if you look at how they position the soccer, the football, they actually use a lot of licensed product. So they're kind of moving in another direction. They closed down and shut down a game. Remember the first person Star Wars game from Respawn? Shut down. They shut down 2 mobile games, MLB Snap to it or something like that. I don't know. And another mobile game. It's showing you bad decisions, poor planning leads to this economic downturn in the industry as a whole? Did the bubble pop? Are we at a cusp of an actual meltdown? That's weird to see, because as we move all the way digital, then you start worrying about your digital identity, right? You start coveting these physical games a whole lot more now. But the problem is a lot of these consoles can't be played without the online functionality. It's nuts. It's nuts to see EA in this bind. It's nuts to see any developer in this bind, but this bind is here. And then you hear the people talking about the developers and everybody talking about it's not exactly one thing. It's not exactly COVID, and it's not exactly this, and it's not exactly that. Well, I can exactly tell you that 670 people lost their livelihood. You know, I hear a lot of people say stupid stuff like, well, you know, they got Sony or, you know, EA, and they're able to get work in other places. I'm worrying about the guy that just got there that didn't get a chance to, you know, give it the full college try. I don't know. You know, this stuff is rough, and it's hard, and it's taxing on us, because every day we wake up, this is the news. Instead of new games coming out, and you hear games canceling, studios closing, and mergers happening, acquisitions happening, and things are happening, and they're moving at such a rapid pace. These once immovable giants, these juggernauts. This is EA that we're talking about. Millions of copies sold, EA. This is what we're talking about here. Wrap your mind around that. This next topic is going to delve into the aspects of consolidation and absorption. Maybe get a little masturbation from it too. Shout out to Warzone Mobile, launching 3/21/24. If you play mobile games, Warzone Mobile's there. Sure enough to give Microsoft a foothold in the mobile game, raking in boatloads of cash. Green team for the win. The boot will be on Kong's neck this whole generation. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do it over here. It ain't gonna stop. These beatings will continue. You do know this, right? Now let me give you evidence of Xbox tax, because a lot of dudes don't think Xbox tax exists. But let me give you this Xbox tax. Now check it out. Just the other day, well, not too long ago, Jim Ryan goes and he visits the UK developers, right? A couple of days later, that place is closed down. Kaput. That's it. They were part of the 900 people that lost their job. They closed the studio down. Bow. That's it. I want y'all to keep this in mind. You had people talking about, oh, you know, Sony needs to trim some of the fat. Listen to these words. Oh yeah, they restructuring and rearranging just to give you better stuff, to be a better Sony. Okay. Microsoft has some of the Toys of Bob people work from home. And was moving them to another office. Oh, they're closing down Toys for Bob. That's not how you do it. Blah, blah, blah. What is Microsoft doing? This is why I hate consolidation. The ABK deal was bad. All the stuff. You hear it. We see it. We know it. Right? comes out today that Toys for Bob made a deal with the licensees, the IPs for Microsoft to get them, for them guys to go completely independent, and then they sign a deal with Microsoft. They turn right back and sign a deal with Microsoft to keep their independence but make their games. Microsoft didn't have to do that. Microsoft could have said, nah, we'll just liquefy it and just write it off. Do you see how a boss company moves? Do you understand the difference between the two? The level of hypocrisy is nuts when it comes to these things, because we have the console war, but it seems uneven. One can do something completely egregious, and the other one can do something that's beneficial to the developer and their livelihood, and they're cast as the villain. Somebody told me that I'm misrepresenting Microsoft, and Microsoft is the Jedi and the Sith is Sony. I'm not going to go into the politics of Star Wars because I have a very diverse political stance on Star Wars. It's religious, it's a political, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's funny how they got a Senate and all that other stuff. It's funny. But I say this. The Xbox tax is absolutely real, because when you can see this one instance, and this instance is very, very bad. People, they're not there. That studio is closed. You did so much, and then you go over there, and you know what's on the books. You know what's about to come. I wonder if he gave him a heads up. I wonder if they chipped in for Jim's farewell party. Because that was a farewell joint. I wonder if they chipped in for him. Man, I know I'm getting fired. I'm not. Nah. And save that cookie, bro. But Microsoft goes and they do this, and Toys for Bob is able to live on as their own entity. Kind of like Tina Turner. Like, yo, all I want is my name, man. And now all I want is my name. I can't stand the hypocrisy here. You see, one is for the people, and you see one is not. When is this going to change? It don't have to change, because I'm going to keep the boot on Kong neck this whole generation. You don't like it? You don't like me? So what? You can't stop me. I'm going to continue telling the stuff that you don't want to hear. I'm going to continue beating the drum until you guys wake up. But what you going to say? Oh, we got Final Fantasy V birthday. We doing it way big. It's not your IP, stupid. We going to get that too. Hashtag Square in trouble. And they need to make some money. So you know who to come to for some money. But this is the part in the video where I'm going to tell you to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'm going to throw that logo over there. Try to play the Game Pass.